On guys, 118 Set Shadow here. Happy holidays to everybody. I got my holidays coming up with Christmas and New Year's over the next 2 weeks. And on top of that, I've got some more exciting news to share with you guys. We finally got the official announcement for Bushiroad Spring Fest in 2023. I was talking about this a few times during my prior videos regarding team tournaments that are going to be happening next year, and this is the official announcement for that tournament. To make it quick, there will be team tournaments where you pair up with a team of 3 players, then you participate in any of the 3 Vanguard formats or the Y Schwartz tournament that takes place, and compete in order to win promo cards and fame. Taking a look at some of the prizes that you can pick up from the regional championship, you will receive a participating promo if you participate. And then you've got the champion PRs, which are pretty nice looking overall. And it looks like you will also get a playmat for being the winning team or the top 3 teams. I feel like they mean the winning team when they say the top 3 playmat, but we'll have to see. But yeah, you've got this coming up on the horizon. The regional tournaments will start in March, I believe. Let's take a look at the schedule. Yep. Looks like we're starting with Mexico at the beginning of March. They're going to follow up with Texas, but they don't have a date for it, surprisingly. LA is going to be in April, then you've got Chicago and Atlanta in May, before finishing it off in Canada in June. Well, hope you guys are excited. I sure am. Alright, with the Springfest news out of the way, let's go ahead and get into today's Market Watch. Starting with a deck that has been seeing some play with set 8 released in Japan now, Roroa. This card is still pretty accessible in terms of value, having a number of $3 listings now, which are creeping up to the $4 mark, but there are 3 pages worth of listings at this point. And it has been getting bought at $2.50 to $3, so best to pick yours up sooner than later, as these are starting to top in Japan with the new 5 attack combo that it can pull off. On the flip side though, Radlina has dropped in value, despite the fact that this card is actually the whole key component of the entire Roroa deck. If you're not playing this card in the deck, it severely hinders Roroa's ability to actually play properly. But this card is $2 at this point, with listings starting to run away to $3.50, $4. So also pick this up sooner than later, as you'll definitely want to have these if you're going to play Roroa overall. Finally, in terms of the deck, you've got Resolute Pair of Eyes, which has been seeing a resurgence in value. It was dropping down to $5 for both the foil and the non-foil, but it's getting bought at $9 again and is rising back up. In terms of the promo pack that we got for October to January, do keep in mind that this is the second most valuable of the promos that you can pull behind the Eva promo. So it's not as much of a surprise that this one is rising back in value, especially with Roroa being more popular these days. But we'll have to see where it ends up, as the promo pack is still available in tournaments through January. And if Bushiroad makes good on their time for this promo pack, they may actually extend it to February, since we got them a month late. Now, also taking a look at set 5, we've got new blaster support that was announced by Bushiroad today in the form of brand new promos. So with that in mind, I wanted to go over a few cards from set 5, starting with the secret rare of Blaster Blade, which is also the worst selling right now of the 3 secret rares you can pick up in this set. You've got Blaster Blade, Phantom Blaster Overlord, and Dragonic Overlord the End. who is currently the highest. But Blaster Blade has been selling a few times between $90, $80, and it has a few listings above that right now. Overall, in terms of the listings that have sold, you're not looking at too many of them. Most of them are selling under 100. A few have sold over it, but there aren't that many listings that have sold, especially given that this set has been out for quite a few months already. And you can see its market price has dwindled from some initial sells that it had when it first released. Ultimately, I don't think you're going to see as much play of Blaster Blade versus Blaster Dark, but this is the secret rare version of Blaster Blade with our iconic protagonist Aichi Sendo on the front. So definitely keep an eye out for this one as we get new Blaster Blade support. But a card that has gone up in value over the last few days is Little Sage Marin, particularly the SP version. This card is part of the Ride chain that you get when you play the Ride deck for Blasters, and has been selling for $11 for the past few days. A huge increase from what you see here, where the card was $4 to $5 for quite some time now. It's almost out of listings, and you have a few at $15 before you finally have one that tops out at $21. Where it'll end up going, I'm not sure, but I could see this settle at $15 very briefly before it may even find its way in the $20 range. Then another card that has been creeping up since the last time I talked about it, Steam Battler Gunrum. In particular, you see the 80-cent listing when you look at this at first, but if you take a look closer, you can see that in the last few days, this card has had a spike in its market price with several listings that have sold for $1 to $2. This card used to be under $1 for a little while, and now, despite having 15 listings left, there are still a huge number of them at $4. This is yet an example of vendors at this point trying to slightly increase their prices just to make sure they can get whatever little bit that they can get on cards like this. And then you've got Gunrum SP, who is one listing finally sold, 4 copies at $14, but there are still a few $14, $15 ones left, and then it goes up to $20. This card may start to get bought out soon as we get closer and closer to Chronojet Dragon. Same goes for the Double R. So I don't think this card is going to get lower for a while. If you do want this, it might actually be better to go for the SPs now, as it's very likely the Double R might go to $5 pretty solid. But we'll see what happens with Chronojet's release. But a card that hasn't seen as big of a spike, it has been getting bought out recently though, it's Sylvan Hornbeast Gnosala, which is Magnolia support. This card has been getting bought for the last few days at the $2 mark, and it still has a few of them at that price point before this one also begins to run away to $3. Another one that you'll want to pick up sooner than later before this one ends up becoming close to a solid 5. But to be fair, it will be a bit of a stretch to do so as long as this still exists. The SP is still available for $7 to $8 on average. So a $5 Triple R versus a $7, $8 SP, I feel like is a no-brainer in which I would just spend the extra few dollars just to pick up the SP in that case. But Magnolia is getting some new support, along with the fact that Inlet Pulse is still yet to be removed from the list for the English format, and we'll start seeing next month in the Japanese format whether or not this lift of the restriction has any effect on Magnolia. Then another card that has been seeing value increases these days is Leonorn. Bushiroad announced another promo card that supports Leonorn with additional soul and additional power in case of boosting, and the card has made its way back to $11 from the $8 mark. There aren't too many listings left, but there are a few listings with a number of them. But once we've seen these go out, I could see this card end up at $15 for a little while. Well, if people actually list it for $15, because once the $10 ones are gone, we're looking at $20. And then when we look at the other rarities, the FFR is getting bought with this new announcement, but it's still got a number of listings at the $40 point. Then it goes to $50 before climbing above that with a few listings above the $50 mark. But keep in mind the DSR still exists on this one, which should keep this price in check for a while. But that depends on just how far away this card gets from its current price point of $154 minimum. Because the other listings are $170 and $185. But it fell out from over $200. So it'll be interesting to see if this card can get all the way back up to the $200 price point. And to wrap everything up today, we've got Julian coming in. This card has seen a price increase from $5 to $8, with only a few listings left and Bruce's new announcement to come within the next month or so, I think. This card has had a lot of anticipation for being compatible with the new Bruce, as it does not require Final Rush. So players are anticipating that this card will be playable in any variant of Bruce, and therefore want to grab a hold of these before they potentially buy out. However, do keep in mind that this is from set 6, so there is a reprint on the horizon in the same month that the BCS is going to start for us. So even though this card may go up in the short term, it may drop, and the same goes for Leonorn, but we'll see what happens in the interim. As for the FFR, this card has been getting bought at the $50 price range, but that was about a week or two ago. And now there are only listings at $40 minimum. Again, if you can wait it out, since we're not even going to get set 9 until March, there's actually a better chance of picking this up after both the set 6 reprint and the release of set 9 for us. The only thing we have to consider is whether or not Bushiroad delays any of it, and if you are participating in the Mexico tournament, you're not going to have time to wait for those reprints, so you would have to buy these if you're going to participate for the Mexico tournament. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Happy holidays again.